Together with the gnomish merchant Acorn, our party sets off to leave the swamp and the horrors of war behind them as they begin their journey towards Tresillian, the City of Stars. Along the way, they are forced to deal with the eccentric gnome, who seems to be obsessed with keeping a strict schedule. An unexpected detour in their journey leads to a meeting with the mysterious elven Kunonichi, who seems deeply invested in the party's experiences in the swamp, but the elven ninja retreats as suddenly as she appeared. The journey resumes with the party coming across a wounded and captured griffin. Moved with compassion, Delphinium attempts to free the beast, but when our heroes are approached by its captors, negotiations eventually break down and combat ensues. But the griffin's freedom is secured. The wild griffin then turns its ferocity on the hunters, allowing our heroes to make a hasty escape. And with an end to their journey finally in sight, they begin to look towards the future and the dangers that await them in the city. Hello and welcome to another episode of A Little Light Adventuring, where our adventures may be little, but our lights are always shining. I am your Dungeon Master, Daniel, and once again, I'm joined by our intrepid adventurers, Mark as Benedict P. Coldlight, the Teltrian artificer with a habit of defying authority. Tyla is Lady Delphinium Willowbloom, the mysterious elven priestess who has a heart for captured and potentially lethal creatures. And Travis as Zephno Thespionage, the Delrish actor caught up in Teltree's war, but who is always more than meets the eye. So, hello, we are back again after a little break for the holidays. We'll probably have another one coming up here soon. I don't know if we'll get in another episode before Christmas time, but it is good to be back with you. Always excited to share our stories with you. And for our returning viewers, thank you for sticking back with us. And just know that we're still here and still ready to give our stories from the world of Chalnora. All that said, how are you guys doing tonight? How are y'all feeling?
Hanging in
I'm
there.
good, ready to go.
Hanging in there? All right.
Let's roll some dice.
Let's do it. So I don't know about you guys. I'm glad to be back. Previously, you journeyed with the eccentric gnome Acorn to the big city, and along the way, you released a wild griffin to terrorize the land. That's probably fine. Nothing bad could come from that. In any case, you made your way to this trade city called Trocillium and entered in at a lively market square. But unfortunately, it didn't take you too long to find some trouble here as Zephno got shoved into a merchant stall, and the next thing you know, there are cries of thief. Again, probably fine. Nothing bad can come from that situation. So that is where we will be picking up our story today. So anybody got anything before we get started?
Nope.
All right.
I wish we would have found out what the deal was with that gnome and
Well, he's
him
still
always-
around. Yeah, he's still around.
his timetable and his schedule.
So, as always, for those watching, if you like what we're doing here, we encourage you to click that thumbs up button, drop a comment for the algorithm, and slash that subscribe button so that you can be the first to hear when our videos come out. We've also got the Little Light Adventuring Discord. Again, it's got some links there where you can learn a little bit more about the world of Chalnora and connect with the Little Light Adventuring crew. So if you're wondering what we're up to, check us out there, and we'd love to hear from you. All that said, let's pick up where we left off and see what kind of trouble that Zephno has gotten himself into in Tresillian, the City of Stars. All right. So, having entered the city of Tresillian and taken your leave from Acorn, you made your way out to explore the crowded marketplace of Hawker's Square. As you explored, you were amazed by just how busy things seemed. The streets were very crowded, and they weren't necessarily the easiest to travel through. At one point, you got pressed so closely together that it was difficult to maintain your balance, and that's when someone bumped into Zephno. It came from behind, and as if somebody was shoved into you, or somebody maybe pushed into you. And normally you're a pretty agile guy, Zephno, but it was so unexpected that it sends you sprawling into a nearby vendor's stall. You don't hit hard enough to really hurt yourself, but you do knock a few items to the ground. And as you're kind of getting your bearing straight there, you see that it was some food items. And some shouting starts up while kind of all this is going on, and you don't catch everything. But one thing that is very clear is the shout that gets your attention, where it says, "Look here, he's trying to steal from me. Thief! Thief!" And Delphi and Benedict, hearing the commotion coming from behind you, it's just enough to make you turn around and see what's going on. And when you do, your eyes are immediately drawn to what appears to be Zephno, sprawled over the stall of this food vendor. And an overweight merchant in a white cap stands on the other side, and he seems to be the one causing most of the fuss. However, he's not looking at Zephno. His intention is instead primarily focused on a tall, brown furred Valori who has his hands lifted up defensively. Valori are a fairly common race of wolf people. They're known for their tight knit pack communities, and usually when you see one of them, others aren't that far away. They're known for following the Lady Soth, the goddess of the moon, and for their physical prowess. However, they do have something of a bad reputation in most areas of the world. Go ahead and give me a history check. See what you know about these guys.
18.
5.
Someone
Apparently, I
has
don't know my
not been.
history.
Yeah, you haven't been. You never took history in school, obviously.
I did. I just didn't listen.
You flunked out. I got it.
Nat 20.
Oh, nice, nice. All right, so
You say this race is called a Valuri?
Valori, yes, Vallori. So Delphinium and to a lesser extent Benedict, y'all are pretty well versed on your history, and you know that the Valori have a bad reputation stretching back centuries, back to the time, the age of calamity. And they were known as some pretty rough dudes, kind of plagued humanity, terrorized human populations, and just didn't really make a very good name for themselves. Eventually, and Delphinium, you would know this very well because this happened near the Elven capital. Uh, the the tribe that was in that area was eventually subdued by Ashihara Galen, the legendary hero that you have come into a little bit of contact with in your travels so far. And the legend says that she was able to subdue this greater tribe, and that kind of brought all the rest of the Valori in line. But obviously, that didn't really do much to improve their reputation among most of the species of the world. So these guys don't really have the best of reputation in most places they go. And as you're kind of taking this all in, the merchant, still focused on this Valori, he says, "See there? He threatened me. He pushed this man into my stall. Don't let him get away. Someone get the guards, quickly." And the crowd has mostly moved to enclose this area. Zephno, the merchant, and the Valori man are at the center of this kind of circle of people, and Delphi and Benedict are caught up in the wall of people that seem to be gathering around. And it looks like this merchant isn't backing down, but the crowd they don't really seem to be that moved to go out and find the guards just yet. And they're more interested in what's going on.
Is he trying to run or is he's standing there?
Roll an insight check.
3.
All
Bad
right.
rolls tonight.
So, well, you're just getting them out early. So, as you watch the guy, he doesn't really seem to be running, but you can't really get any impression off of him. He's very tall. He's very well built. He's got a very intimidating personality. So you can't really tell if he's trying to get away or if he's trying to stand his ground and kind of be defiant in this situation. He does have his hands up in a defensive kind of gesture, and as he's standing there, like that. He says, I did not steal. I was merely looking at your food. It smells so delicious. And the merchant behind his stall, he says, "Oh, sure." He tries to deny it now, but look at him. Uh, you can't say that you meant no harm. I was just trying to see what you wanted, and I turned around, and uh, you growled at me. You bared those vicious fangs at me, and he told me to hand over everything in my pouch.
I'm
And
I'm gonna try to take control of this situation.
okay,
Whoa! I tripped here. I fell forward, knocked some things on the ground. I'm gonna pick up the stuff that
uh,
fell on the ground, the food, put it back
you,
up on top of the stall, the booth.
and the
Uh,
merchant, he's kind of confused by this. He's like, you don't have to defend him. He pushed you. I saw him.
I'm not defending him. Why would I defend him? I have no reason to defend him. I'm just telling you what
Well, of
happened.
course not. He's a thief.
Hey,
You seem like a personably reasonable man. Hey, why don't you go get the guards?
what are you
No.
missing?
Well, there's the food that you knocked over, but it was more of the threat, the intention of violence. I mean, just look at him, how mean he looks.
Did he threaten you
And
before or after I fell onto your stall?
it was before. He was growling and very vicious before he shoved into you very violently.
Must have
Are you
completely
hurt,
missed you.
sir?
No, I'm fine.
Well, you're lucky. Look how big he is. And he does seem to have a point. I mean, this guy is very tall, very well built. He has a very rough around the edges kind of look to him. His face is kind of covered in scars, and one eye is completely hidden under an eye patch. And he is like very large, very well built. So he's got a very intimidating kind of personality. But still, he doesn't really make any moves like he's trying to get away or run from this situation.
Zephno, if you're all right, I'm not sure this is any of our concern.
No, fine. It strikes me as odd. You know, he's only got one eye. How would he even seen anything to take it? I mean, come on.
Please, I have no intention to do anyone harm. I was just passing through the merchants and viewing their wares.
Actually, my arm is a little hurt. Maybe a little bit of free food might make me forget about it, though.
Uh, uh, we don't have time to talk about free food right now. Go get the guards. We must arrest this man.
Get the guards yourself. You're the one with the grievance. We have things to be about.
But you're just going to let him get away? Are you missing anything? Did he steal something from you? And you check your kind of person, and it doesn't look like it. But yeah, this situation appears to be getting a little bit more desperate. The vendor doesn't seem to be backing down, and the Valori he's protesting his innocence, but the vendor's growing more and more agitated.
Sir, do you have any proof that he's stolen anything from you?
Well, like I said, it was more of the intention of doing harm to me. Look, I heard him very clearly tell me to hand over everything in my possession, everything.
Was that before or after you called him One Eye?
I didn't call him one eye. I wouldn't do that. That's very mean. That's very cruel. He just look. He probably lost it in some type of vicious brawl. He looks like a brute.
Well, you
And
should ask you.
the
Why'd you lose
Valori,
your eye?
the
Winky.
Valori, he looks over at you and says, "Please, I do not want to get involved in that story. It is very personal. But believe me, I did no wrong here."
Well, I'm not gonna go get the guards, but I'll watch your stall for you while you go get them, sir.
Well, you better make sure that he doesn't take anything, or I'll get the guards on you. I'll take you in as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No. Make sure everything is accounted for here.
Well, make sure that he stays right here. Do not let him leave.
Zephno.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
All right. So as you kind of agree to that, he runs off into the marketplace looking for the guards, and the rest of the crowd they're pretty confused about what's going on here. They kind of go back to what they're doing, and the Valori just kind of keeps standing there, and he looks at you and he says, "Are you really going to make me stay here?"
No. In fact, you and I and my compatriots here, we're gonna head on the opposite direction. You're welcome to come with us, or you're welcome to flee the other way, Patch. But I don't stick around for guards.
We've already
If
mounted one
that
I got
daring
one of those
escape. Let's not
personal
require
backstory
another.
things too that we don't want to get into.
that may lead to some unsavory dealings, uh, would you mind if I come with you?
Sure.
At
What
least
kind of
until we
food?
get
What kind of
away
foods on
from
this
the
stall?
mainly pastries. Looks
I'm
like
gonna have a pastry on my way out.
you're really going
How
to do
much
that?
does the
That's not
how
very
much
honest.
Zeph, no.
how much does the pastry cost?
You look
Well, I don't know.
around
The merchant's
and you
not here.
find a
I'm a-
sign that says 5 silver. Yeah, they're
How you
kind of
want?
I have 30
individually
copper.
labeled.
Well, it's time to hit the road. Let's
Zeph,
set
no,
out
we've
before he gets
already
back here with the
mounted
guards.
one escape. We don't need to mount another.
Fine, I'll leave the pastry. Everyone's so nice and kind. Law-abiding citizens here. Right. Well, let's head out. What's your name, Patch?
You can call me Star Whisper. I know that it doesn't look like it, but I am a Valori scholar. Uh, I only wish that others could realize that appearances can be deceiving.
A scholar
Yes, a scholar.
among the Valori.
Not a thief.
No, not a thief.
Not a pirate.
You say
No,
so.
not a pirate.
What is your topic of study?
Well, I came to this area to explore the ruins and different local history that I found here. I have been traveling around for some time. Eventually, I plan to make my way to the continent of Adol. But while I was here, I know that this land is very rich in its history, and I thought that I would spend some time trying to discover some of it for myself.
Are we walking away as we
Yeah,
talk?
you can be
Okay.
walking away as you
All right.
talk. It
Head
seems
down the
like
road.
that would probably be the best, wisest choice of action. And as you're walking there, Star Whisper, he says, "Do you have anywhere to be? I would like to buy you a drink for uh, helping me deal with that unsavory merchant. There's a tavern not far from here, but it should get us enough distance away from the hustle and bustle of the square if you aren't doing anything."
Hey, you throwing a pastry? I'm there, man.
Well, I don't know if they have any pastries, but it will be my treat.
Okay, I'm good. Let's go.
All right. And Benedict, you were originally in the marketplace looking for a blacksmith. Do you want to continue that or leave that for later?
No, we've drawn enough attention to ourselves.
All right. So you begin to make your way out of the marketplace, and you are led into the residential district of the city known as Old Tresillian. Here you move away from the squawking of the merchants, and you find that the streets here are much less crowded. The buildings are mostly small to medium size, and they appear to be rather modest living spaces. You can see younger children darting here and there along the streets, playing and having a good time. Under the watch of watchful mothers while they're out hanging clothes and stuff on the lines that are strung between the buildings. You can see several tradesmen going about their daily routines, and even some street musicians out playing some traditional Delrish tunes, with the occasional gathering of a few there listening and providing tips. Here, too, you also notice a few small church houses and temples sprinkled along the streets, dedicated to the different gods and goddesses of the region, collectively known as the Nine. All in all, it gives you kind of a very tight knit community kind of feel. And you get the idea that you're getting to see a true representation of the Delrish people without too much interference from the Kingdom of Teltree. No one seems to be paying you really any mind as you're walking along the streets. And as you're on your way, Star Whisper speaks up, carrying on some light conversation as you travel towards your destination. He says, "Pardon for my saying, but you seem to be new to the area. Are you freshly arrived in Tresillian?"
Just got here, brand new. You're the first person we met,
I'm
or
sorry
bumped
that it
into, I
was
guess I should say.
I'm sorry that it was a little bit of a rougher meeting, but I assure you that we will make up for that. I'm actually from the Lefren Central Plains Pack, short ways north of here. The Valori have a much larger presence there, but I do like to travel the region trying to find interesting places, and that's why I came to this city. Do you know anything about the city? Do you have any questions? I can try and provide you with some aid if you would like.
We've only just gotten here, but I must say, I do not think your kind would be particularly welcome here. Now, if you've managed to get this far without, well, the kind of a reception we witnessed earlier.
Some are more receptive to us than others. Unfortunately, I admit that my appearance does have the effect on certain people to make me seem very untrustworthy. It is a curse that I have to bear, unfortunately. But I try to make do. We can't lie in the shadows trying to hide ourselves. We must move forward into the future. Do
I
you agree?
completely understand. I've got the same kind of curse, except it's the opposite. All my good looks and people just staring. It's crazy.
The rampant narcissism.
What?
Nothing.
Boys.
So
Oh,
he leads you on through the city a short way, and he kind of continues to speak up at a couple times, providing some little insights. He says, "This city is very unique. It's kind of stuck between two worlds, the old and the new. On the one hand, you have Old Tresillian, the original settlement, which you see around you now. It is very Delrish. You will likely find that to be true, but I would advise you to stay clear of Adder's Alley. It is a street that stretches the center of this district and has a somewhat rougher reputation. I will not be taking you there, as I prefer friendlier environs. Elsewhere in the city, you can find Tiltree's influence more prominent. There's the Starshine Harbor and Hawker Square, which you have already experienced. There's also the Span, which is the wealthier part of town. Primarily Teltrian citizens there, though they do have the Eversong Theater. It puts on a good performance every now and then. And as he mentions the Eversong Theater, Zepno, you are very familiar with this area. This was actually the place where you performed several of your plays when you were with your theater company.
what was the name of the theater?
The Eversong Theater.
The
So
Eversong
you mean
Theater. Great memories there. Used to act back before the war.
so you mean to say here in Tresillian, Delrish and Teltrian live side by side?
That would be a generous interpretation. The the kingdom of Teltri is very oppressive of the Derish, as I am given to understand.
It's not their best attribute.
So as he continues on his way, he eventually leads you to a building that stands out from the west by the wooden sign that's hanging above the door, featuring a golden anchor emblazoned on either side. And as you get to this, he points up at the sign. And he says, "Welcome to the Gilded Anchor. Come, friends. Honestly, I ate no breakfast this morning, and I'm starving. If I would have known the trouble that I would have run into, I might have eaten something before I left." Leads you inside, and you're immediately greeted by an inviting dining area. There's green and gold banners hung up around the rafters, kind of giving the room a little flavor. There's also a few patrons sitting around eating lunch. It doesn't really seem all that crowded. You see a stocky barkeep, probably in his early 50s, sitting behind the counter, and he eyes you as you enter but quickly gives a nod to Star Whisper, acknowledging his presence, and seems to be at least put off a much friendlier type of attitude towards the Valori. The Valori smiles back, and he leads you to a corner booth, and before long, you are approached by a young Air Genasi woman, and she has pale blue skin, wispy white hair tied back in kind of a bun, and she greets you with a smile, and she says, "Star Whisper, welcome back, and I see you've brought friends. Welcome to the Gilded Anchor. I'm Breezy, and I'll be serving you today." And she takes out some menus and she kind of hands those around to you, and she awaits for your orders. She says, I'll give you as much time as you need, but please look over the menus and tell me what you like." And Star Whisper, he nods to Breezy before turning his attention to you, and he says, "Please, friends, it is my treat today. It is the least that I can do for calming down that situation and letting me leave with you."
Popular guy around here.
Well, I do try and make a good impression when I can. It's not often that I find places that are willing to accept me. So when I do, I tend to treat them very well.
It's most generous of you.
We have to be generous to one another, especially when you are a Valori and people do not look that highly on you.
Well, I think I'm gonna start out with some Kraken fingers. Sounds pretty good.
Oh
And
yes,
maybe
our
move.
Kraken fingers are loved throughout the town. They're a real treat.
And then the Albert egg omelet. But can I add some bacon in there?
I think we can do that. I'll
Oh,
tell the
you're
chef
beautiful.
and
Awesome.
we'll fix that right up for you. Can I get anything else for you? And she looks to Delphinium and Benedict.
Might I have the potato skins and a romaine salad?
Yes, I can. We'll fix that right up for you, Lady Elf.
Thank you.
Just the catch of the day, if you please.
Excellent. I'll be right back with your food. And she quickly moves off through the tavern towards the kitchen. And as she leaves, Star Whisper speaks up to you again. He says, "So, what do you think that you will do here in the city since you are freshly arrived?"
That's a good question.
Likely leave as soon as we can.
Well, if you do want to stick around, I might be able to provide some work for you. Uh, as I said earlier, I am interested in studying the local ruins surrounding Tresillian. If you would be willing, I would like to hire you to escort me. I don't expect to see any trouble there, but it is always better to have someone to watch your back, yes?
That is true.
So, where are you going exactly?
And how much are you paying? That's very important.
Well, I don't have the specifics quite yet. I do have to make a few more arrangements before we head out, but would be willing to pay you the sum of 20 gold per trip to each of you.
Each?
Yes, to each of you.
Seeing as I can't even afford the price of a room tonight, I'd be more than happy to at least do what I can to keep you healed and healthy.
Well, Lady Delphi is very, very hard to persuade. So if she feels safe with you, I mean, I'm in for that amount. I'm good.
I'm still curious as to where you're going, but
Well, you will find that there are many ruins and historical spots around Tresillian. Uh, we shall be visiting several of them to perform my studies. And like I say, I don't expect it will be hard guard duty, but Again, it just knowing the area and knowing how some people view my kind, I would like for a little extra support.
What exactly are you looking for in these ruins?
Just anything that would clue me into the history of the area.
This close to the city, I can't imagine there wouldn't be much that hasn't already been picked over rather thoroughly.
Well, I'm not a treasure hunter. As I said before, I am a scholar interested in pursuits of knowledge.
Hey, but if some treasure just happened to be lying around, we
If
don't
some
mind.
treasure is there, I am sure that we can find a way to split that up between us, yes.
Singing his song, as it were.
Hey, you don't even have to sing.
Suffice to say, I think it couldn't hurt to be outside the city, since it wouldn't do if any Teltrian authorities came looking for us. I'm not sure how much time we have before that becomes a reality.
You will have some trouble with the Teltrians then, yes?
You could say that.
That is unfortunate, but at least you are in the Delrish section of town. You will find that they have no love for the Teltrians here.
For some of us, that cuts both ways.
Ah, yes, you are Teltrian, correct?
Unfortunately.
Well, hopefully it will not get you in too much trouble. But I do think that this might be the better section of town to stick with for now.
Fair enough. Appreciate the insight.
So, as the conversation continues, your food eventually arrives and it smells delicious. After the food that you've had at the fort for your time in the army and the 2 weeks that you were on the road with the trail rations, it's giving you every indication that this is going to be one of the best meals that you've had in quite a while. So, as you dig in and are enjoying yourselves, roll a perception check for me, everybody.
Can
8.
9.
All right. So as you're sitting there finishing your meal, there's a moment when the door at the back of the tavern opens up, and through it come 5 young Delrish men, and they exit this back room laughing and jostling with each other, making their way into the main room. They are very loud, very boisterous, and as they make their way past your table, one of them happens to glance over your way, and spotting Benedict, he gives kind of this cold scowl and he punches one of his compatriots. And the laughter, the roughhousing, it just instantly dies and is replaced by some hushed whispers as these guys go to their table.
Right, here we go.
So, yeah, they don't really seem to be interested in causing too much trouble, at least not yet. But they are definitely eyeing you a little bit.
happen to know those guys?
Not personally.
I do not
Our
know them
whisper?
either. I don't know everyone in this section of town, but they do appear to be Delrish. Perhaps they are not looking too kindly on you because you are from Teltree.
Yeah. Good times.
Unfortunately believable.
Well, maybe we should finish our meal and get out, head out of town.
That might be a good idea. Listen, I do have to make some more arrangements before we can head out. Do you have anywhere else that you are supposed to be for the evening? I know you said that you were having a little bit of trouble finding money. And you remember that you were supposed to report back to Acorn at some point before you got too settled in the city.
We have a somewhat frenetic companion that we should probably meet, but
Associate, really.
yeah, it's a better term, really.
All right. So, Star Whisper, He gives a nod at this and he says, let's go ahead and finish up and split ways here. It will get you away from prying eyes and it will allow me to make my preparations. You know where I am. You can find me here. And when I am ready, let's say on the morrow, we can talk more about our next steps forward.
Sounds like a
Okay.
plan.
Till tomorrow.
All right, so you're able to finish up your meal, and Benedict, you keep noticing that these guys are just kind of looking over at you and glaring as you finish up. And as you try and make your way towards the door, you pass by their table and make a dexterity save for me.
Can I guide him?
Yeah, you can get him.
Um,
I'm gonna need it.
Let her be your guide.
10.
All right.
with
No,
your
wait, 12.
D4?
12.
Yeah,
12 with my D4, yes.
Oh, that's with the D4 already added.
Yeah, that's 12 with my D4.
All right, so as you're walking past the table, you feel something just get tangled up in your legs, and you go stumbling forward onto the floor. And the crowd in the tavern just kind of falls quiet. And one of the men that you had seen coming out of that room, he just kind of gives a chuckle, and he says, "Better watch your step, Tail Tree. This isn't the right part of town for your kind."
Quite right, my mistake. I must be more careful in the future.
You be sure to do that, and make sure that you keep your friends on the other side of town.
If I had any here, then I might do that, Bob said. As it happens, I'm alone. Thanks for the warning.
All right, so you're able to get out of there. They don't really look like they're going to cause any more trouble for you, but you are able to exit out of the tavern there, and you find yourselves back on the streets of Old Tresillium.
You didn't want to just fry him a little bit? I mean, just kind of.
I'm gonna press to digitate just a really foul smell at their table.
All right. So as you're leaving there and cast your prestidigitation on their table, you hear the Jocelyn pick back up, and one of them's like, "Oh, Molly, what did you eat? That smells rancid." And they all kind of laugh at one poor guy who's over there by himself.
Also, also, are they eating or drinking anything?
Not at current. Not at current.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay.
Benedict will dust himself off and make his way out. The
Benedict,
Dilrish
you
have,
can't let people push you around like that.
the Dilrish have borne quite a bit at the hands of my people, so it's not so particularly surprising that they bear some ill will, misdirected as it may be.
But you're not responsible for that. You should not bear the burden of being shamed and abused.
I bear more responsibility than you might know, but in any case,
God,
we
it's
should move on.
Probably good we didn't, bruise the place up too much since we've actually got to come back and meet Star Whisper here.
That is true. Don't want to set off get a bad reputation for yourselves. All right, so yeah, y'all are back out on the streets, free to kind of explore and do what you please. You are supposed to meet up with Acorn at some point, but you're free to wander around, look at shops, go shopping, do any of that.
I will, at this point, renew my effort to go find the blacksmith.
All right, everybody kind of following along, sticking together.
I don't got a lot of money,
Yeah.
so I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, I don't have any money to spend, so
All
I mean,
right.
maybe like I find like a flower seller, I'll get like a little bouquet of flowers or something. But
I wrote down that I've got 13 gold, but I don't think that will go very far. I don't really remember where that came
Well,
from.
I have a whole 30 copper, so
Look at you,
Delphi's just not living the high
rolling in
life.
the dough.
nope.
All right, so yeah, y'all kind of venture out into the city. Delphi, you are able to find a flower vendor there in Old Tricilium before you really get back into the larger portion of the city, and she sells you a bouquet of wildflowers for 5 copper if you'd like.
Yes.
All
It's
right,
money
so
well
it's
spent.
yeah. She gives you. She seems to be very pleased that you were willing to stop at her shop and purchase something, and
Oh,
she
no, I
gives you
have 30
many.
gold.
What?
I have 30 gold.
You see, you do have some money there.
I looked at the wrong symbol.
All right, so
Okay.
all right. Well, in any case, she's very grateful for you stopping by, and she wishes you many well wishes as she sends you on your way with your bouquet of flowers. All right. And for Benedict, you eventually make your way kind of back to the Hawker Square and you look around, spend some time perusing the different vendors and weapon stalls. You aren't really finding anything that sticks out too clearly to you. Most of the people there seem too boastful about their work or too focused on making a deal to be very trustworthy. You're about to give up when you eventually come across a dwarven woman working at a small stall with what appears to be a portable forge. And she's on the shorter side. She's got this mass of curly brown hair, it's streaked with gray, and she looks like she's hard at work at what she's doing. Unlike the other sellers in the area, she's not shouting loudly or trying to advertise her wares. Instead, she simply stands there working at her forge, heedless of kind of all the crowds in the square. And as you approach, she
Oh wait, wait,
does.
wait! I'm not gonna
Oh,
come up to her yet.
oh, okay. All right.
I'm gonna duck around the side of an alley or something real quick before,
Okay.
so no one gets a good look at me. And I'm going to cast disguise self,
All right.
and I'm going to make myself look like Acorn.
Okay.
Then I will go approach the nice blacksmith lady.
All right.
Mhm.
All right. So as you don your disguise and approach the dwarven blacksmith, she does give you a glance and she kind of looks back your way and stops what she's doing, the blade that she's working on. And she looks at you kind of confused and then says, "You looking or buying? Cause I don't have all day."
Ah, it's very nice to meet you. I'm hoping to buy.
Is that what I sound like when I do Acorn? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. She wipes her sweat from her brow and she says, so you're looking to buy what exactly?
Well, as it happens, I'm looking for a suit of plate armor for my bodyguard, a human male of about middling size.
Well, plate armor is pretty expensive.
Well, that's not a problem. Aren't you familiar with who I am?
Not in the slightest.
I am Atticus Cornelius Oren Ranula Nimbledore, the leader of Lucre.
Gnomes. And she just kind of shakes her head and she says, so you're willing to pay full price?
Oh, of course, yes. My organization has deep pockets, and this is a rather urgent matter.
All right, so she goes behind her stall and she pulls out a few things and she comes out with a set of plate mail and she sets it before you. And it's a very nice set of plate mail. It looks like it is very finely crafted. The price is going to be 1,600 gold. I expect the payment up front. I don't take IOUs. I don't need any introductions. My work speaks for itself. Either you like the price or you can find some other shop that sells inferior work. I don't negotiate.
Oh no, I've of course not a merchant of your caliber. I wouldn't expect them to. But as you see, I would not carry that sum on my person. That would be foolhardy. You are more than welcome to send the invoice to Lucre headquarters, though, here in Tricilian.
Roll a deception check and do so at disadvantage.
Oh, that's so mean.
Hope your rolls are better than mine tonight.
We're gonna find out. Uh, 13.
All right. So she narrows her eyes at you, and she just gives you this very inquisitive look, and she says, "You're not Luke. You're not with Luker.
Excuse me, I am the leader.
You gave yourself away when you started talking about not being willing to negotiate. Gnomes are always willing to negotiate."
That is true. However, this is a matter of some timely importance, and I would not do you the insult in of
So she takes
haggling
the
with you.
armor. As you're talking, she just starts taking the armor and she starts putting it back into her cart. And she doesn't really even give you even the time of day. She goes back to working in her forge.
Well, I never. That's a very poor decision, miss. I assure you that no merchant with their salt will be willing to work with you after this.
If you'll notice, my cart tends to move when I want it to. I'm not interested in sticking around in one place, anyways. And she just keeps on working.
Your loss. Very well.
I will wander off.
You almost had it, but you gave yourself away. You gave yourself away. All right, so what are you going to do now that you have wandered away?
I will go back and find Delphi and Zeph now.
Are you kidding? I just watched all that.
Riding hard. The shame is real.
What were you trying to achieve?
I have needed some
Am I there
components.
too?
Yeah, you get to see it too. You're standing over there.
I'm just gonna like slow clap.
Oh, shut up.
I mean,
Award-winning, Benny. Award-winning.
It's Benedict.
I'll drop the.
Benedict, dear, if you
Guys.
could turn into. Okay, I'm gonna clutch my talus for a second. I feel awful even suggesting this, but if you can turn into Acorn, why don't you just get the money from Acorn and then go buy the armor? Go get the
Why
money
would
from
Acorn
Luker.
give someone who looks like him the money?
Not from him,
It's a
but
doppelganger.
from Luker or from somebody in his.
Because I don't actually know where they're based.
That's
It was a
not
bluff.
a bad idea, though. We could find that place probably.
Yeah, well. In any case.
Well, why don't you just go back as yourself and attempt to buy some armor that you need?
Do you have 1,600 gold? Because I don't.
No.
But I don't think she's going to let it go for 35.
Maybe she would for some flowers in 35.
Go back to your roses. In any case, I guess we should see about finding the real Acorn.
All right. So you set off to find the real Acorn and not the disguised Acorn. And I hope that I don't sound like that when I'm doing Acorn.
Hopefully, he hasn't grown into a tree.
All right. So you do go back to the warehouse where you left him previously. And it's getting a little bit later in the evening by this point. And as you get there, you see him waiting outside and he's kind of looking around, trying to see you. And when he spots you, he gets very excited. He stops pacing around nervously and he kind of waves you over, motioning you to come over to see him.
Yes,
Always
right,
a pleasure,
Acorn.
Acorn.
All right. So as you approach, He says, "Excellent. I thought you had forgotten to return, and that would have been unfortunate because I do have something for each of you as well as some good news. I hope you have had a productive trip to the markets. Did you find any good deals? Of course you did. Hawker's Square, a truly lovely place with all the shouting and exchanging of goods. You can practically smell the coinage in the air.
It's quite nice, although it turns out that Luca has a rather poor reputation there.
What do you mean?
Oh, just doesn't seem to carry the weight that it might have once.
I will have you know that our merchants are respected everywhere. Oh, who gave you the impression that it was not so?
Oh, just some dwarven blacksmith. She didn't seem too impressed, I'm afraid.
Well, I will have to see about that. I will scour the marketplace until I find her, and I will make sure that I find out the exact nature of her disagreement.
Oh, do let me
But
know how that goes.
what was that?
Do let me know how that goes.
I most certainly will. Now, what were you? Yes. I do apologize, but the prospect of making money does make my mind tend to wander. In any case, here is something that I have for each of you. And Acorn reaches into the pockets of his trench coat and he pulls out three small pouches, which he carries around and presses into each of your palms. And inside, you find 20 gold each. And as he hands over the last of the pouches, he says, "Consider this a payment for your time spent guarding the wagons on your trip. 2 weeks' pay tallied at the standard rate for high quality bodyguards, with a bit added in on the side for the business with the Griffin. Look, I understand we were a bit rushed on our trip, but I do feel that the journey was considerably safer having you around. Even though you did let a wild griffin free to roam about the countryside, likely terrorizing the local populace, it certainly wouldn't have been any easier for me to handle that situation. So, here you are, a very generous stipend, if I do say so myself."
How many days did we travel?
About 2 weeks.
So 14 days,
Yep,
20 gold.
yep.
Don't question it, Elfie. Is a gnome.
All right, so he says, "Is everything to your liking?"
Thrilling.
Does this include tip?
Well, like I said, it is a little bit extra added on for the side with the business with the Griffin. That was quite a messy business, but like I said, I think that it was handled very adequately, with no loss of limbs or death by any of our company. So I can't complain. Listen, I will have to be leaving the city soon and continuing on my way to Stonecross in the north. Guild business, I'm afraid, unfortunately, but I will be gone about a month before I'm able to make my return trip. With the war with the Vishnahari kind of on the decline, I'm afraid that I have to make some adjustments to my business model to maximize profits. I'm sure you understand. But I did say that I would do something to help you get on your feet here. As such, I would like to hire you as guards to officially protect our holdings here in Tresillian for the time, at
What
least
kind
until
of
I return.
holdings?
What?
What sort of holdings are these?
At the Luca warehouse that you see before you. It is more like a drop-off location for several of our goods. I don't expect that it will be a very difficult job. The Teltrians do well enough keeping the peace in the city, and doesn't pay very much. But it would, I would be willing to give you a advance as far as payment if you're willing to accept.
How
How
about
much is
1600
not
gold?
very much?
1,600 gold. What?
That sounds good.
That is quite an exorbitant amount.
We've proved ourselves, haven't we?
Uh, Not 1,600 golds worth of proving.
Maybe 1,500 then.
No, look. Let's be reasonable here. I'm willing to pay your group the salary of 201 gold pieces for the month of work because I like easily divisible numbers. Uh,
201 is not divisible by 3.
It is perfectly divisible by three. You'll find.
I think we're more of a
It's no
500 each kind of crew here.
It's gnomish math. As it happens, for some reason, we're in high demand as bodyguards of late, though. So
But you
we
do
have
have
another
the
offer on the
you
table.
do have the burly type of set for it, Mr. Benedict. I think
Really?
you would do yes, I think you would do very well at it. But listen, I know that you'll be in high demand. You'll probably all finding other work. The job would only be during the evenings, as we already have a morning crew here, and the rest of your time should be yours. So if you'd be willing to accept this, you could start immediately, start tonight. And like I said, I'll go ahead and give you this advance on the payment.
Of 500 gold apiece.
And no, 201 gold coins altogether.
Oh, wait, whoa. You mean we've got to split 201?
Yes, three ways.
As I said, it's not divisible by 3.
And you
It
want us to
should
risk
come
our
out to
lives
67 gold coins.
to protect your warehouse? I don't know. You're gonna have to make it a little more worth a while, I think.
Yeah, 67 times 3 is 201. That should be right. I'm not wrong on my math.
Gnomes are never terribly good at maths.
Listen, would you be willing to take the job or not? If I suppose that I could negotiate with you, since we do have some prior history, but listen, it's not like I said a job that pays very much. It's not high demand.
Well, how willing do you want us to be to actually protect this stuff?
No, you
Whatever's
should
in
be
your
very
warehouse.
willing. I figure once we have an arrangement, you would be men of honor and women of honor, would you not?
Would we also get to pick a few things from the warehouse for ourselves?
If you wish to peruse the offerings that we have here, you should be able to do that. But
So,
but listen, it's more about the agreement between friends. You've worked with me before. I trust you at least somewhat, and if you'd be willing to work for me, maybe we could increase the salary a little bit. How does 100 gold for each of you sound?
It's most generous of you, Acorn, but truth be told, I'm not sure we should confine ourselves to the city at this point. A month is quite a long time, as you said.
Well, that's certainly the case. If you wish to venture off, then you can do that. But at least give it a try for tonight. How about that? And then you can decide in the morning. It's really a lovely warehouse. It's not such a bad job when you get down to it.
Well, one evening's not going to hurt anything, I suppose.
And then you can decide in the morning what you want to do with yourselves after that.
Do we get access to the warehouse, or we have to sit
Yes,
outside?
but if you're not going to agree with me, I'm not going to give you the advance on the money until we come to that arrangement.
May we talk amongst ourselves for just a moment?
Of course.
Hey, let's huddle.
Zeph,
So,
no, we're not going to rob the man.
Oh, come on! What do you think's in this warehouse? We should at least look around and see what's
But-
in it.
Probably grain.
Benedict, we might be able to find some things for
I mean,
your
come on!
tinkering
You're
and
willing to trick that poor dwarven woman into stealing some plate armor.
metallurgy.
I wasn't going to steal anything. I was just going to make Acorn pay for it.
Mhm.
What
So
was that?
you
Did
were-
someone say that you were going to make someone pay for it?
No,
You were-
nothing, Acorn.
You weren't
Fine,
stealing
little
from
fine.
gnomish
her,
ears
then you
another
would have been
20 yards
stealing
away.
from Acorn. Somebody still has to pay for it. Anyway, listen. If we
Try
take
for-
the job and we get access to the warehouse, maybe Benedict can find some metals and wires and tinkering things to start rebuilding his armor that he's
Really?
lost.
That's what you think I do?
Sounds fun.
I don't understand all of the numbers and letters and pretty colors, but it's very fancy what you do.
It sounds exactly like what an artificer would do.
I'm just not sure it is a good
I
idea
mean,
for us to be
what else are we
popping
gonna
around
do
here for
tonight?
very long.
Sleep?
You don't have a place to sleep currently.
Fair enough.
Hey,
For
there
tonight,
happen
it's
to be any
probably
beds
fine.
inside this warehouse? Acorn?
Yes, there's an office, and it comes equipped with a few cots and even a small kitchen for you to refresh yourselves. We aren't barbarians. We will give you accommodations while you are performing this work for us.
Hey, free place to stay. Mm-hmm.
Well, if we're here, I mean, what's our next? What's our plan? We've told Star Whisper that we would aid him in looking at nearby ruins and stuff. For but what are we supposed to do about Teltre and the army and the queen? What am I
Some
supposed to do about the queen? What is our
mean,
next?
that seems like a uniquely you problem, but
Yeah.
as far as the rest of it,
What queen? Who queen? What?
as far as the rest of it goes, at
We
some
can
point,
talk about it in private tonight.
word will make it down here that we are deserters, and I would rather not find myself on the wrong end of a wanted.
Should we at
poster.
least try to get a little bit more money out of him? Maybe 150 each.
Well, he's not going to give us 150 for one night.
He's a gnome, Zeph. No, you're haggling. Trust me, you will
Okay.
lose. No matter how much you haggle, no matter how smooth you talk, you will lose.
Okay, gnomes.
In any case, if you want to humor him for the night, it's fine with me.
So
We may
you've
as
come to a
well.
decision then?
We'll try it out for the night.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Like I said, we can talk more about it in the morning and hopefully come to an agreement. But if you don't mind, I am going to be turning in for the night. I've got another busy day, have to keep to my new schedule. But I will bid you adieu. And Acorn turns to go, and he leaves you kind of gathered near the entrance of this warehouse. But before he turns the corner, he turns back to you, stops in his track, and he says, "Oh, yes, one more thing I almost forgot. Benedict!
Yes,
Yes, I was talking to one of my jeweler contacts, and while you were away, she seemed very interested in those gems you had discovered. I don't want to speak for, of course, but I imagine she would be very willing to pay a fair price in exchange if you're willing to part with them."
I'd be happy to meet with her.
Excellent. Her name is Lady Avandra Sky of Sky High Jewelers, located in the Span. You should be able to stop by at your leisure. And she's quite a lovely lady. We have had many great business dealings before with her, but her shop is in excellent standing with the guild.
Excellent. Thank you for the
Their
recommendation.
prices are sky high too. Huh.
Hopefully, she'll pay sky high for them.
Suppose we'll see.
Maybe
Yeah.
then you can get your armor.
Dare to dream.
All
Be
right.
very
So with that, he
interesting.
kind of turns and finishes walking off and leaves you again there standing before the entrance of this warehouse.
Well, shall we go ahead and see what our new place looks like?
After you.
Maybe the pantry's stocked.
All right. So as you make your way into the warehouse, you find it is full to bursting with crates and barrels. They're stacked in neat little organized rows. You see trade goods all organized and labeled. And you can see an assortment of items, everything from fine art to common tools. And you're reminded again just how wide this trade guild's offerings must be. They don't seem to specialize in one particular thing, which might be a reason they are so successful. There is an office in back, and as you get back there and enter in, you find a few cots, like Acorn had told you, and even a small kitchen so that those who aren't on watch can kind of rest and relax, as it were, back here.
What's in the kitchen? Anything to eat?
Yeah, there's food. Yeah, you. It's got a fully stocked pantry, and yeah, you can find different dry goods. You got pretty much access to any type of spice that you would want, and if you've got a hand at cooking, you'd probably be
No,
able to
no
whip something up.
paprika though.
Paprika.
No, you find some paprika there. Yeah.
Oh no.
Reminds me of somebody. Somebody I once knew.
Somebody that you used to know.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
All right. I suppose we will buckle in for the duration. I suppose.
All right. Who's going to be on watch? What's our watch order?
I'll take first watch.
All right.
I'll take second watch.
I'll take third.
Oh, well, ladies first. I mean, if you'd like second.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go in and cook something up in the kitchen. You guys hungry, huh?
All right. So as you kind of organize for the watch, you settle in for the night. Zepno, you're able to go in and cook some food. And eventually, the first watch it passes, it goes pretty smoothly. And it gets to the second watch. You're woken up there, Zepno, while everybody else is kind of sleeping. Benedict trades off with you. And as you are kind of settling into your second watch, about 1 o'clock in the morning, while everybody else is kind of conked out, you're passing the time when from somewhere deeper in the warehouse, you just hear this crash as if something had fallen off of a shelf, and then there's silence.
That sounded bigger than a rat.
It did sound bigger than a rat.
I'm going to stealth down through there and see if I can't sneak down through there and see if I can't see anything, but with making as least amount of noise as possible.
All right, there's currently no lights on in the warehouse, and you are a human with human eyes.
Do not have dark vision. There's no lights?
Not currently. You could take some torches with you if you would like.
Do you have prestidigitation?
It's going to give me away. Do I have what?
I don't think that he does.
Oh, okay.
You don't have any spells to use, if no.
No spells.
Yeah, he's just a normal
Just
normal
lots of
thiefy person.
backstabbing and pickpocketing.
Or you could wake up everybody, and they could probably provide you with some spell light.
Let's see, Delphi. Okay, yeah, I'll wake everybody up. Hey guys.
What?
Something big fell down the way there. Delphi, you got the night vision, right? You can see in the dark. So
It's that elf thing.
the elf thing, or maybe some magical lightness,
I
light
suppose I can
fingers,
see in the dark.
or Benedict, with your little bird, maybe it's got a flashlight on it or something.
Hold on, just a moment. I will pull out a small tinkered bird just to amuse Zepno, and after tinkering with it for a moment, it will emit a small light.
Look at that! You should really market those.
They don't last that long. Here, take it.
Thanks. I'll go
All
check it out, or you guys can come with me, whatever you want to do.
We'll come with you.
All right. So if everybody in tow, Zephno, are you leading the way with your masterwork little
With my
uh,
bird,
light there that you've got?
me and Polly. Yeah, I'll lead the way.
All
Why
right.
not? I know where it is, so I might as well. Or at least I know the direction that the noise came from.
Yeah, you don't know exact location, but you set off into the warehouse. The warehouse is silent now, and while you don't know the exact location, you do know kind of where it's from. And after a little bit of searching, you eventually stumble across a large wooden crate that apparently fell off a shelf, and the lid has fallen off, and the contents have kind of spilt everywhere on the floor. And it looks like that it was filled with some seeds, some farming tools. Doesn't look like it's anything too valuable, but make a perception check.
Natural 20.
All right. So out of the corner of your eye, you notice underneath one of the shelves there's some movement.
Hey, you guys see that under the shelf there? I whisper.
Do you
And
see
as
it?
he kind of as he directs your attention over there, he points it out, and yeah, y'all can see that there is some movement, but it doesn't look like it's much, and it looks like maybe whatever it is trying to stay out of sight.
I will. I will telekinetic shove whatever it is and try to yank it out.
All right. What's the DC on it?
Strength 15.
You could turn into a gnome and try to talk to it.
We're not talking about that.
All right. So as you use your telekinetic powers, are you going to pull it towards you? I guess is that
Yep.
what? Okay. So yeah, you use your shove, and you there's definitely something that grabs onto, and it pulls it out. And as it does, you hear this young and very indignant voice cry out, and it says, "Let me go, you wispy-haired gawk-eyed absolute swab boggin!" And right about then, that is where we're going to end.
Oh,
Oh,
such language.
And it sounded like a very tiny voice. So, yeah.
I thought it was going to be Neymar.
All right.
No.
So that is where we will end for now. But we thank you all for joining us, and we hope that you will be back with us when we have another video. Again, like, subscribe, leave a comment for us for the algorithm, but we will see you all next time.
Thanks.